sit in our chairs over there and listen to them.
I'll bring her over here.
So Sedona has been my home for about 5 years. And every year it's always new surprise. And I love returning surprises to Sedona. I came here because a documentary was made about my music and my voice, which is a little bit different. You might hear it come and go. It's working now, which is remarkable because doctors 15 years ago said I wouldn't be able to speak again. And the process of recovering my voice was a process of healing my nervous system. And the process of healing my nervous system reinvented the way I play the violin. This tune is like 300 years old. So I may have modified it since 300 years ago. That's what I love to do. My music is about coming into the present moment and letting it come to life. And my life has just pushed me in that direction, whether I liked it or not. As a kid, I grew up playing on the streets of Victoria, Inner Harbor of Victoria, British Columbia. And I have a sister who's also a fiddle player, and we grew up playing music for people. We give out business cards, and we got hired to play in Japan, Thailand, the Cayman Islands, German TV. We were on the Jerry Lewis telephone when I was 16 years old. It was this incredible fairy tale of a life because we were just playing music and having fun. The most I ever practiced as a teenager until I was about 18 was about an hour and a half a day.
Wow.
And I was a championship golfer as a teenager, and before we moved to BC, I grew up in the mountains, and I was a downhill skier. You could say my parents were overachieving. That would probably be accurate. But for my soul, that worked just fine. When I turned 20, things shifted. I was going to Nashville. I wanted to be Garth Brooks. This was in 2001. There was no such thing as YouTube. A career as a violin player was absolutely unheard of. So I thought, okay, I gotta be Garth Brooks. So I was singing and getting all these lessons, and I even worked with Michael Jackson's voice coach in Los Angeles, and all kinds of amazing things would just sort of show up around me. And then my voice started going like this. The first thing that happened was I'd say, hello, when I answered the phone. And that was terrifying because, of course, I thought this was my lifeline to my next stage. I didn't want to always be just this novelty fiddle player. And that turned into something called spasmodic dysphonia. And by the time I was 25, I couldn't sing anymore. By the time I was 30, you didn't know I had a baritone voice. I recovered this when I'm 40 now. I recovered this when I was about 36. I'm 40.
No way.
The music,
25.
right? The music keeps you youthful, and I think as much as anything, following something that you love, does that. And I think that's a common thread for all of you. I'm sure there's many different reasons why each of you volunteer your time here, and within that is a core reason that you are such a gift to the world. And so that's why I am happy to be here playing music for you, and also to share a little bit about my story. So when that happened, I had to reinvent everything. And eventually I got to a point after several bands that almost had record deals fell apart. I realized I don't even know what to do, but I can go to the violin. And so I started doing some unique things that I had forgotten about. As a kid, I used to love to strum my instrument, but no one else did it, so I forgot about it. Right? This is the thing with new ideas and new inventions in our world, is that our inventions often, how many inventions get thought of, that's brilliant, and then we forget about it, right? So that's been a big learning. And this is a song that I wrote while in India, doing a graduate project for energy healing, working Vedic laying of hands healing on the Tamil people who were the creators and the originators of this near Orval, India, and Southeast India. So I'm just gonna play one more song for you. What I'm doing right now is actually going back about 10 years in time for me, because I was completing energy school in India. I'd gone to school for 3 years, just like the Barbara Brennan School of Healing, if you've heard of that. And this is when I learned that music could convey this energy. This is why I loved playing as a kid, because there's this connection with people. And when I was in India, I saw all these young people my age that wanted nothing more than to get a job in the tech industry, because that was the big news. But I lived in Seattle, Washington, and all my friends in the tech industry now wanted nothing more than to get out of their office job and go to their yoga class. And so I thought, wow, there's kind of a bridge happening here. There is a bridge happening. And I did a show as I was cultivating this new idea of playing the violin as a solo instrument. As I say, this was 10 years ago. Since then, I've grown it into a show that uses a loop pedal, and I create multiple layers of myself. So all my personalities get a voice. It's wonderful. And so right now, I'm rewinding in my mind, going, okay, how did I play these pieces? How did I play these pieces? And this piece was written spontaneously at a performance on Tilikum Island, which is just off the coast of Seattle, and it's the home of Chief Seattle, who was known as a peacemaker. It was one of the only ones that actually was able to interface with the pioneers and the settlers and actually work together. And so I thought that was really extraordinary, because in my heart, I'd just come home from India and saw this bridge. And so I was in a sound check, just experimenting. I had my eyes closed, and when I stopped playing, there was cheers. And I opened my eyes. The room was when I closed my eyes, it was empty because there was a sound check. But all the staff had come out from the kitchen to hear me, and it was just such an affirmation, right? Because I literally didn't know that it was something that could. It was just happening. So I call this Tilikum. The footprints of finding our way toward a better place. you for what you're doing. And also, not to get into it, but I know that the city has changed things and things are changing, but that's okay. Change is good. Change is a new opportunity, and I can tell that y'all are a part of that. I thank you so much for what you're doing, and I thank you for supporting us who are out there individually on our own. The fact that I get people coming up to my show saying, the Uptown people told me to come. It means so much. Literally, it's the reason that this happens. So, if you want any information, you can go to my website, Fiddler on the Rock. I also have little postcards here. I'll show you. I've got a show that I've started. I started this in 2019 at the Pavilion. And I did free shows. I didn't advertise it. I had 8 people to start with. 5 shows later, I had 200 people. Now the Pavilion's become too difficult to rent, so now I'm in the hub. And I'm looking to get the word out as much as possible. So I have these cards. You're welcome to take one. They're also up in the Uptown Center. And it's on Monday nights. I do a show with lights and my looper pedal and the stories that you're hearing. It's about an hour and a little bit. And that's who I am in a nutshell. I hope that was helpful and enjoyable to you. Thank you so much.